Hello team, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. So today we're going to be talking about becoming an infantry soldier, okay? The spearhead of the army, those frontline fighting troops. But before we get into it, make sure you give us a thumbs up, click that subscription button and turn the notifications bell on. It really helps the channel and I really appreciate your support. Becoming an infantry soldier then, this comes with a lot of umming and erring. Should you do it, should you not? Oh, you need to get a trade, okay? If you want to join the infantry, join the infantry. If you don't, then don't. You can do some really exciting things, and it is one of the most exciting things within the army. It's what most people think of when you think of the army. If you go to someone random who doesn't know anything about the army, they most probably describe an infantry soldier, someone extremely fit, aggressive, fighting troops, picturing Afghan, Iraq on the news. That's what people think of when they think of the army, okay? And everyone in the British Army is a soldier first. They all go through basic training and learn the basic skills of being a soldier. The Infanteers just go away, learn it more in depth and become SMEs, subject matter experts within that field, okay? So if you want to do it, go and join it. But I'm now going to discuss with you how you can join them and what it's going to involve. First things first then, you've decided you want to join the army, you want to be an infantry soldier. Head over to the British Army website or go into an army careers office if you've got one in the area. They are slowly closing down sadly, but they still do have some about. So head over to there and ask to speak to a recruiter and they'll be able to give you more information on this. But I'll try and give you as much information in this video as possible. Once you've done that then, you're then going to have to start going through the application process, okay? So you need to be just over 15 years and 3/4 if you want to join in the junior entry. Over 17 years and 6 months, you're then going to go into that adult entry. The application process, from what I see and speak to people now, is longer than what it has been. So if you're a bit worried about your fitness, just get your application in just so it's processing and you can work on your fitness while that's going. It's a little bit of paperwork. You then need to do a few tests. So you'll do something called a bar test and you also need to do selection. So when you go away, you're going to do a selection. You're going to have to pass numerous tests. Some being physical, some being slightly more mental, and the rest is just they're looking at your personality while you're on the course. So the basic physical assessments you're going to need then for joining the infantry are the mid-thigh pull. You're going to need to pull 76 kilos or more. The medicine ball throw, you're going to have to throw 3.1 meters or more. The beep test, level 8.7 or more. So you need to hit those three physical requirements to pass selection to then go on to be able to become an infanteer. Once you've passed that, you've passed the bar test, you've gone through the whole application process and you've been accepted, you're then going to go off and do your basic training. Junior soldiers, this is 49 weeks at AFC Harrogate to do your basic training. Okay, this is anyone under 17 years and 6 months. After you complete that, you're then going to go to Catterick and do your 10 weeks initial trade training. Anyone over the age of 17 years and 6 months, okay, adult entry, standard entry, you're all going to go to Catterick and you're going to complete 28 weeks of basic training and initial trade training. Once you've done all of that, no matter what entry you've come into, you're then going to go off to battalion and you're going to then start carrying out standard battalion life. You might have to do extra training for certain things. So I know the guards, they have their drill sort of guard section down in London, okay, and other battalions might have small introduction sort of courses that you may need to do. And the only other difference is if you're joining the parachute regiment, during your 28 weeks at Catterick, you will have to pass the arduous P Company, where you're going to complete their test events and hopefully go on to earn your Maroon Beret and go on to serve with one of the parachute battalions. So within the infantry then, you do have 16 battalions, okay, which you get to choose from. Normally, back in the days when there was a lot more infantry battalions, it was really local and you can still do that. So down south, if you're in the sort of Sussex, Surrey area, a lot of them will join PWRR. The Scottish, obviously you have the Scottish battalions. If you're up north, you've got the Yorkshire Regiment, you've got the Duke of Lancasters. Down in Birmingham sort of area, you've got the Mercians, and then you've got other sort of national battalions, which is the Parachute Battalion, where they literally recruit from the whole of the UK and the Commonwealth. Don't really have to assign to these, and you can join any battalion. It's just sort of tradition, and a lot of people like to join their local battalions, especially back in the day when it's like World War I and World War II. But they've all amalgamated. There's only 16 battalions now. You know, you've got the Irish now, and I've got a few friends there. You don't have to be Irish to join the Irish battalions, but it is majority of where people go. So Do your research before you do your application or while you're doing the application, and figure out which battalion is going to be best for you. Going through Catterick though is going to be tough during those 28 weeks or 49 weeks at Harrogate, 10 weeks at Catterick. Okay, basic training, you're going to be doing all your standard basic soldiering. You've got to be learning all the weapon systems. Okay, you're the SMEs when it comes to this sort of stuff. You know, GPMG, SAAT, grenade launcher. Then you're going to move up to things like LMG, sharpshooter, and other sort of weapon systems, the pistols. You've got basic first aid, which is very important. You're then going to do SEER training. You've then got navigation, so your sort of map reading, which you're really going to have to be hot on. And then just sort of your standard basic soldiering, your fieldcraft, and all your tactics, which you're really going to have to fully understand. It's also just very tough. You think you're infantry soldiers, you're going to have your classroom base, but you're going to spend in a lot of time in the field. Even if it's in the summer, it's going to be tough, it's going to be tiring, because you do a lot of things at night and you get less night. In the winter, it's going to be cold and wet, and you're going to have to start adjusting to that sort of stuff. But it's definitely going to be worth it when you do pass out and move down to your battalions. To join the infantry, you don't need no formal qualifications, so you've just got to pass the application and the selection process. Now let's get into the most important bit, and let's talk about the pay. What pay will you receive while serving throughout training and throughout your sort of career? So throughout training, the minimum you're going to earn is £18,647. Okay, remember that's pre-tax, so you do have tax, national insurance, that is going to come off of that. Once you complete your training, you're going to be earning approximately £23,496 as a private. And then what you're going to do, then each pay level has different increment levels. I won't go into all of it in detail, but say like level 1 as a private has say around 4 to 5 increment levels. So each year you will promote. Normally the first 2 years are the same. It's sort of a pay freeze when the new payroll come in. It is pretty crap, but that's just what they brought in. And then each year you'll get a pay increase. And then once you hit the maximum level, it will freeze unless any sort of standard inflation pay rises come in. When you promote or do certain courses, so say you do a certain course, sometimes you jump to level 2. And then when you promote, say Lance Corporal, you're then going to go on to the Lance Corporal pay. That will have a pay freeze for 2 years, and then you'll have so many increment levels. And then you'll go to Full Corporal, same again, say 5 increments. Starting wage is most probably around 33,000, and you'll finish off around 37. You then promote to Sergeant, you go to the minimum level of level sergeant, promote up the increment levels, okay? So that's how your pay is going to work. So your pay throughout your career can range from around £18,000 up to around £50,000 if you hit Warrant Officer Class 1, okay, the most senior soldier within your battalion, okay? That's where you'll be aiming for when you join. And then you've got the pay in between. If you go over to the parachute regiment, obviously you will get specialist pay, so your para pay, which is amazing, approximately £200 extra per month. Okay, so that will pay for your car. So if you don't mind heights a little bit and you want to earn extra money, go to the parachute regiment. You're going to earn just over £2,000 more per year than other units. And trust me, it does make a bit of a difference on your pay, especially when you're a bit younger as well. But even when you're older, if you're on 36k, you're going to get over 38k just from getting para pay. So it's definitely worth doing, I say, for the money. Career and life progression then. You'll hear a lot of people say, do not join the infantry, you need to get a trade. Now life has sort of changed and you can do a lot more, and you do many things throughout the infantry that you can sort of transition into civilian life. Throughout your career, you could go into patrols, recce, signals, you could become a sniper. You can, people that work in vehicles, tracked vehicles. You can become an instructor down at Catterick, Pirbright. You can become a PTI, sort of personal trainer, sort of physical trainer, go through that route. There's a lot that you can do being in infantry, and it goes into a whole load more. There's so many courses you can do. Jungle Warfare Instructors course. There's loads you do. It's really exciting. But also transitioning into civvy life, okay? So you're going to hit, say, corporal or above. So you've done a good few years in the army, 6-7 years or more. Corporal above, you're going to start getting management and leadership qualifications. I've got a level 3 first line management from my time in the artillery. They get that as an infantry soldier as well. Go through the ranks, sergeant, sergeant major. That then turns into a level 4, level 5. So they start turning into degrees. You've then got just the pure skills of managing and leadership. Trust me, civilian companies really look at it. All you're doing as a sort of NCO within the British Army is project management. I know so many people that leave into project management because that's what you're doing. You're just managing people, managing equipment, managing tasks, okay? So project managing's a big one. It's transferable into loads of sort of companies. You then got something called LCAS. So if you do over 4 to 6 years, you then get enhanced learning credits. And this is money to get to put towards courses. I've used it for a personal training course. I'm going to use it now while I've left the army, because you can use them up to for me for 5 years when I leave the army. Now if you leave, up to 3 years for photography and other sort of stuff. I know other people that have done sort of tracking courses. You can do all sorts with this money to go and sort of get yourself trained up for when you leave. Every year, every soldier gets something called standard learning credits. I was stupid and never used them. They don't transfer across. So if you don't use the £175 that year, you lose it. So use it or you lose it. And sadly, I didn't use them, but I know people that do forklift licenses, mental health, first aid at work. You can do all sorts of courses with these money, okay? So if you want to be an infantry, go be an infantry, but just use this money or go and do online free courses in the evening to like enhance your skills ready for when you leave. You start with settlement as soon as you start the army, okay, not in your last year. But infantry, I was in the artillery, fire support teams, worked very closely with the infantry when I was in Afghan. I was just in a checkpoint with them. Absolutely unbelievable job. If I rejoin now, I would sometimes really consider joining the infantry, even though I think the artillery, FST, or you get best of both worlds. You get to do both, so I definitely highly recommend that. But the infantry is an absolutely amazing role. They're going all around the world at the minute. The technical and then equipment they are getting at the minute, and the funding is absolutely insane, from vehicles to little tablets to weapon systems, comms, chest plates, like belt kits. The kit and equipment you can get out there, or you can invest your own money, is absolutely amazing. It's definitely worth doing. Yes, it sucks, it's hard, you've got to be cold and wet a lot of times. You're hanging out doing stretcher races, inserting with 40-50 kilos on your back. It is a tough job, but it's very rewarding from everything I see online and from working with them very closely. So I'd highly recommend it. It's 28 weeks basic training for adult entry, 49 weeks at Harrogate and 10 weeks at Catterick if you're a junior soldier. You then go on to Battalion. You then have to do all your sort of other sort of courses to progress and promote through the ranks. Decent salary, starting off at just over 18,000 and then 23,000 when you get to Battalion. There's 16 battalions for you to choose from, okay? You can either go locally or just choose a national one. It doesn't really matter, it's totally up to you. It's just go and do it, it's highly worth it. I would recommend it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you want to see next. I'll see you soon.